Major news today. Couldn't take advantage. Let's see what happened. Hey, what's up YouTube? This is George with Trading Futures Live. In today's daily recap for Wednesday, August 10th, 2022, we did have CPI very early this morning, 8:30 a.m. Came in better than expected, 8.5% annualized. Up against a 9.1% from last month, so we did have a huge run up in the pre-market. If you guys watched us live, it was just me and Beto. I did not take any trades, neither did Beto. We had a huge run up in the news pre-market, and then really just a very narrow range with some chop while we were on live. But I did end up taking one trade after we got off. It was a loser. It's my third trade on the week. You'll see here, this is the last 10 trades here on my edge wonk. The two that I took on Monday were both break-even trades. I didn't take a trade yesterday, and then today I have a loser. So I'm down negative 1.07 R thus far. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trade today. You'll see it was a planned 2R trade, but I did end up losing. I didn't lose a full R. I only lost 3/4 of an R. Well, not only lost, but I lost 3/4 of an R. I didn't take a full R loss on it. I had ended up tightening on my stop. If we go ahead and take a look, I got into the trade at after 11 a.m. It was actually this at around 11:11. We got off the live session, and I had a couple of scenarios. If we break out to the upside on a pullback, I would look to get long. If we maybe broke down from the trend line, I would look to get short. Or if we started to reject off of this zone down here, I would look to get long. Well, after we got off the live session, we did finally break out. We had a nice wide-ranging bullish candle break the highs here. It did have very good volume in it. And it continued to break out from there, so I set up a trade. This was my entry. My stop, I was risking these two 2-minute candles. Basically, it was the previous 5-minute candle that I was risking, with my target just above or just below the zone that I had up here. This was a momentum breakout trade with a pullback. Right, we had a range here that it finally broke out from with some volume. Pulled back, I got in the trade and was never really up in this trade. Spent most of the time down. Finally got stopped out here. It was about an hour later that I did finally get stopped out. But I did follow my plan. Broke out, pulled back, needed to get long. Didn't really have any short signals to get into today, so certainly not until much later in the afternoon, but we were in a very tight range today. I did want to take a trade. When I entered the trade, we had a push here and it came back down. When it pushed here and broke this pivot there, I did tighten up my stop some just below these two pivots, and that's where I ended up getting stopped out here, so that's why I didn't take a full R loss. I would have taken the full R loss regardless. Would have stopped me out of the next few candles on my full stop regardless, and the trade didn't work out. But that's the recap on that trade. I do actually have a screenshot also of, right, these are the internals, the advanced decline, and the tick chart at the time of the trade. The red dashed line is the trade, and the advanced decline was pushing. We went sideways, we pushed up. This was the push that broke the highs, and we chopped around a little bit. Unfortunately, it did pull back after I got in the trade, but still above the 21 EMA, trending upwards, but then it just chopped around and came back down. I ended up getting stopped out somewhere in these, probably when this one broke to a new low, was essentially around the time that I got stopped out. So this started to completely roll over, created a pivot, broke to a new pivot. Certainly would have been closing the trade even if I wouldn't have gotten stopped out at that point as far as the internals on the advanced decline. And then here we have the internals on the tick chart. Unfortunately, I got in on the pullback that created this tick bar here that started to break levels. Ideally, would not have wanted to see that, but I got in on a pullback, and that's what happened while I was getting into the trade. So this happened as I got into the trade. There was no way for me to take the trade off. Other than that, I did like the trend line that was forming. Right, we had a low here, new lows here, and even then this pullback kind of was holding that trend, hoping that this green would then shoot up when my trade got filled, and price would continue to go up. It did not. Created a low, then created another low, and created even a third low, which this was the lows where I got stopped out on. And so the internals definitely reversed on me while I was in the trade. It is what it is. Today wasn't the best day as far as setups are concerned. We didn't really have much to go on. Again, we had the huge shoot up during the news, and then it chopped around in a pretty narrow range. And it really stayed in this range the entire day, even up until the close. So thank you guys for joining us. That's my recap. See you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. for the pre-market analysis. 9:25 we'll go live. And catch you guys. Have a good night. Catch you guys tomorrow.